Amazon walks out on Just Walk Out. So on our sister publication, AIDaily.us, AIDaily.us, you really should subscribe. You really should subscribe because if you're interested in AI and if you're interested in breaking news in AI curated by humans, you should subscribe. It's AIDaily.us. In fact, most of my news comes from AIDaily.us because there's nothing else that's interesting out there right now other than AI. Although this is a slight twist on that. So on AIDaily.us last week, it was reported that Amazon was walking away from its walking out technology. Now, if you're not familiar with walking out technology, you may be familiar with Amazon Go. And the way Amazon Go works is that it's a store with no personnel. Absolutely no personnel. And the way it works is that you walk into the store, and as you walk into the store, you scan your app. And when you scan your app, it will detect who you are, and then you walk into the store. And the store is decked out with sensors everywhere, cameras everywhere, sensors everywhere. And what it does is it detects when you go and pick something up and put it in your basket or hold on to it. So let's say, for example, you walk into a store. It's like a grab and go. You walk in there and there's food, there's snacks, there's all sorts of things. Anything could be in these Amazon Go stores. And they're not necessarily Amazon Go. It's a technology that they wanted to use elsewhere. And it's something that I actually talked about years and years ago, in 2015 actually, as this future of commerce. Seamless commerce is what I called it. And the way it would work is very similar. So what I described in 2015 is very similar to how Amazon Go works. You walk in, it detects who you are, you pick up what you want, and then you walk out. And then the moment you walk out, it detects what you have on you, charges your card, so you don't have to do anything. It's seamless. You walk in, you pick up stuff, you walk out. And all of the technology is fit into the cart. And it's really simple, right? So there's no waiting in line. You don't have to check out. You have to put things in your cart. You just pick it up and walk out. Now, this is a vision that I put out about 10 years ago in 2015 of seamless commerce. And since then, Amazon's picked up the idea, not from me, obviously, but has implemented it, and has implemented it successfully in some places. But lately, in fact, last week, they decided that they were going to stop implementing the technology and actually pull back on the technology in favor of something else. Now, they mentioned that it had something to do with having to have personnel still at the location. So one of the interesting things about Amazon Go, or the Just Walk Out technology, was the whole concept of it being automated, completely automated, where you just walk in, you would need no personnel whatsoever. You wouldn't need any human beings at this location. You would just have the machines doing everything. And as it turns out, though, that didn't work. And there's multiple reasons for that. I guess people were trying to scam the machines, or maybe the machines weren't working properly all of the time. Or maybe even we have the situation where we have in some low trust society areas of the country where if you had a location like this, people would just walk in, take stuff and walk out. And if there was no humans policing it, then you wouldn't make it work. And the problem with this Just Walk Out technology, which is something that even I didn't think about back in 2015, was that you have to concern yourself with what's happening with the society and the culture around us. And as far as I'm concerned, what's ended up happening, and this is the problem with all grab and go, is that all grab and go retail requires a level of trust. You have to assume that these are good actors, that somebody who's going to walk in is going to want to pay for that thing and walk back out and pay for it on the way out, that you trust your customer to want to pay for the product that they picked up and walked out on. But if you go to some areas of the country where the trust levels are different, the culture is different, then you're going to have a lot more theft, and you're going to need to have more policing, and you're not going to be able to have something like this in place. Because it's very easy for somebody to just walk in, pick something up, and walk out if there's nobody there to stop them. If there's no controls on the actual machine. You kind of like think of it any kind of grab and go situation. You can just pick it up and go. right? And if there's no human beings policing that area, then there's nothing to stop people from doing it. And the thing with the Amazon Go technology, the thing with the Just Walk Out technology, is that you need people to police it in these locations. So it's basically a change in culture. And the problem is going to affect all of this types of seamless commerce that we're having out there. So how do we get around this? Well, the only way to do it is to reinstigate putting people there again. Stop people from doing it. Maybe lock them in a box. Like, say you have an Amazon Go location, but when you step into it, you pick up whatever you want, but then it's actually locked and keyed to you, so you can't actually exit the location unless you actually pay for the product. And of course, this is like locking somebody in a jail cell, so nobody wants that. So we've got to figure out better ways of this seamless commerce working. But for the moment, Amazon has stepped away from the technology. They're not implementing it anymore. They're looking for other things, like one where you put stuff into a cart. So let's say, for example, the electronics are actually as part of your cart. So you're in a grocery store and the cart itself is intelligent, which is another thing I presented to another retailer back in, 2011 or something like that, talking about automated carts. So you would take the object and you'd place it in the actual physical cart, and as you placed it in the actual physical cart, there would be some electronics on the cart which would detect what product you were putting into the cart, and it would tally it on a display on the actual cart or on your phone, right? You could sync your cart to your phone and the cart would provide the technology of tallying it. And then once you got to the end of the store and you were starting to bag your stuff, they could charge you then. But all of these require a certain level of trust. And I've said before that I'm getting concerned that some of us are moving into, or some of the parts of the country, or even certain countries, are actually moving from a high trust society where these types of things work really well to a low trust society where these types of things don't work at all. Everything needs to be locked up. Everything needs to be controlled. Everything, if you're going to have a vending machine, it's going to have to be very specific to, it'll only vend and nothing will be open for you to take unless it's super, super controlled. So the concern with these kinds of grab and go things, the concern with these kinds of commerce things, is that if we start moving more towards a low trust society, which seems to be the direction that we're going in, unfortunately at the moment, then these solutions going to need to have a rethink. And that's exactly what Amazon is stepping back from. And it makes sense. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.